Alright, everybody. Okay, so I'm just gonna do an update on current events, news, and show a little bit more of the progress that I've been making on Revulsion so far. Now, it's a bit distracting when I'm working on such a, like a big interconnected level, and I realize that the area that I'm in right now is still an area you guys have already seen. But I have another new section. I don't think it's really too bad spoilers wise. I mean, looking at these things while they're in a block mesh is not going to be anywhere near what it's going to be like to actually run through them with proper textures and stuff. But you have like much more varied, much more open-ended sort of flow, and that's really one of the things that I'm trying to do with to keeping with the more Souls sort of feel. I mean, it'll never really feel totally like that. It'll feel quite a bit different, but there's just like a ton of like little areas where if you look around, you'll see like, oh, there's like a thing that I can get to a ledge, or you know what I mean. There's always going to be crazy stuff like this comes back out into this area, and like maybe while you're down here, you'll look up and you'll be like, how do I get up there? You know what I mean? Even with triple jump, that's a little too high. The player's height is roughly the size of about one of these blocks, so triple jump can get you up there probably. But I mean, by the time you're doing that, you're already on like harder content and stuff like that. And it doesn't really break anything either. I don't mind people taking shortcuts and stuff. It's kind of designed with that in mind. But so like here's a sort of starting area right here. You kind of look down. There's lots of stuff. There's another structure over there. I'm thinking of moving the tower over here. So you go in, and then this will be overlooking. There's a haunted fortress is on this side over here. So um, you don't get to the haunted fortress until much later. But there's like a ravine and lava down here, and that'll be looking into the haunted fortress, and you'll be able to actually sort of see it on like a mountaintop or something like that. I want to try and make it look kind of crazy. So it's like when you come out this way, you'll see the haunted fortress over here, and you kind of come down. There's mini gunners up here. Now, one of the things that I noticed about this is that since I'm going with this sort of level design flow, the enemies spawning in is going to be a lot more noticeable. I have a method where enemies don't really spawn unless you're within a reasonable distance from them. And since this is a much more open-ended style, if I follow the regular traditional methods that I have right now without adding any extra functionality, you'll probably come down to here, and then like if I wanted to have a demon hanging out up here, like a couple nightmare demons or something, just to start laying fireballs on you from all the way over here, they might not actually appear until you get a little bit closer. This is way more open than the other maps in the game. There's a definite different feel to it when you're running around. But it'll be interesting trying to detail things out and everything like that. A lot of the detail levels will probably mean will be a little bit more detailed than what was what's already in the game now. I can't go too far because I don't want it to not look the same. Like it's already pushing that boundary at the moment, and can can easily that can be pushed even more pretty quickly. But you have like aspects like over here. There's a sort of ledge. I want to have lots of ledges where you're looking down or you're looking up. There'll be a bridge over here that comes from the haunted fortress on the opposite side, which is past that way. And like right over here, you'll notice there's a ledge down there, and there's like a drop down there. There's like all kinds of different places where if you're looking around, if you look off to an edge, or if you explore a dead end, you might see something. You'd be like, oh, I can't. How do I get up there? Oh, what's that over there? Like, oh, what's up? What's that up there? So, as far as the spawning system is concerned, though, I'll have to be careful how I do it. What I'm thinking of doing, though, and this is probably going to be a bit controversial, guys. I'm not really sure how a lot of you guys are gonna react to this because a lot of people don't like this. Um, as you go through, there'll be certain key enemies. There's a fewer number of actual like enemies that are always present in the map that will just always be spawned, right? And then as you progress, you'll hit ambush nodes. Now, the ambush nodes don't necessarily have to spawn monsters that are already alert. It can spawn monsters that are, um, they're not like pissed off yet. Like you have to do something to piss them off, but you'll actually see them like spawn in. And a lot of the time, since the level is more open-ended, I can approach this area from this direction, right? And I can approach this area from this direction. I can come in from here, right? And you know what I mean? So like there's all these different directions that I can come into an area, right? And usually what happens is, ideally anyway, is you want to spawn the enemies in front of the player because they lead the player along. But what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have to make it so that enemies spawn in pretty much in every direction. So, but it'll always be the same. Like the ambushes will always be the same. But like when you enter this area, it's actually possible that like you'll see enemies coming out from in front of you, but I might even have enemies that spawn behind. So you'll have to be aware of that. You'll have to be ready for enemies to come every time one of these ambush thingies are triggered. And one of the reasons why is because, like, say if I'm coming back from this direction, I was in a different map, and I enter this area here. Well, now there's enemies spawning up above me. There's a couple of enemies up here, but there's also enemies that spawned in these hallways. So all of a sudden, like there's enemies just like oh, wait, I gotta fight them like this, and so you're gonna be entering areas, and you have to be kind of aware of every direction that they can come. And it'll be like a static thing. There'll always be that one imp up there. Did I say imp? I meant demon. Jesus, a little too obvious. But yeah, there'll always be those demons, those or that one shotgun guy in the corner. It'll always be the same, but they only come for you, or they will only exist after you hit the ambush triggers. And if I leave the current functionality as is right now, and I don't change anything, like you won't even see a a teleport effect. So I have to actually see how they obviously spawned in. I mean, if they're gonna spawn in, they at least have to play some kind of an effect or something, right? Jesus. Okay. Bulwark shield. Why didn't I use that the whole time? Oh, that doesn't help me. Damn dead body. This guy should just explode. Their bodies are annoying. I guess it does keep him from shooting at me. Oh man. Need better guns if we're going to keep testing this. Well, anyway, continuing forward. So like, there's also just all kinds of just like interesting hidden areas. I was already talking about that. So like one example would be if you come up this way and you go here, right? And you might notice that there's going to be kind of like a ledge, and you jump across, and then you get up here, right? There's going to be a lot of this kind of stuff. Not exactly sure what happened here. Let's go. Oh, I know why. Um, there's just gonna be lots of stuff like this where it's like, oh, how do you get up here? Like, oh, it's because you gotta go around that one corner, and then there'll be this like loop that's over here that you might see from below when you go in this way. Be like, whoa, there's something up there. How do I get that? You know what I mean? Like, I guess double jump and triple jump will really marginalize a lot of this stuff because it's not gonna be that like hard to get once you have like double jump and shit. But um, your first time through at level 25, double jump isn't really gonna get you that much. And also too, it's still designed in such a way where double jump doesn't really give you that much, or at least you just got double jump. You're probably gonna be playing this map when you haven't even saved up for it yet. So over here is like, this one corner up here, and there'd just be a bunch of combat in a sort of similar fashion. I guess this is just one of the things you'll have to get used to is that whenever you trigger a fight, there could be enemies coming from any direction, and you just have to be kind of aware, no matter where they are. I'll try to make it so that they're mostly coming from in front of you, but I can't guarantee that when you're backtracking and stuff like that. In fact, when you're backtracking, you're probably very likely to have them spawning in other directions. So I'll have to keep that in mind. So this area here is like a crazy staircase, and it's like 4 or 5 floors up. And if you're looking this way, you'll see up there, and then there's the fast travel here. And like once you finally go into this area, you'll start to see this like much more open-ended, much more I guess I'm thinking more I can't think of a good word right now. It's more Swiss cheesy. There you go. Swiss cheesy. That's a word. I swear it is. And it'll end up being kind of the same thing. Like if you jump down here, you'll end up having enemies on either side, and there will probably be key card doors, doors that only open if you have a specific key card and stuff like that as well. So keep that in mind. You'll actually you'll have to see some kind of an indicator on the door itself before you can actually go through the door. So yeah, like now I'm up on a higher floor over here, and you go up even further. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna take a while for the player to actually fully traverse all this. But one of the things is that one of the key cards is actually hidden, or not hidden, is placed up here, all the way at the very top, and in order to be able to get up here, you have to have another key, which is actually sort of down below. And okay, it's pretty much that. I mean, this should give like a much like bigger idea. Like this is a lot more porous. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. More porous sort of flow to it, and it does involve the player kind of getting lost. It does kind of involve you having to kind of like look at every nook and cranny if you want all of the loot. Maybe there's things that you haven't found. Maybe blueprints that are brand new to the expansion and stuff like that, right? So that's pretty much that. That really covers it. Now, in terms of the actual overall flow of the map, it's designed in such a way where you're always moving forward. Now, I've already mentioned this before, but what does that actually mean? So, if you start here and you go around that corner all the way over here, you're facing this direction. You can end up, going into all these side paths and stuff like that, but you're mostly going up this way. You come up in here, and then you enter the area I was just in right there, right? And now there's a bunch of other rooms that I didn't show, and there's a whole, like, battle area over here and all that shit. So, like, basically you go down here, and there's one of the key cards. You grab that, and then you're able to go back up and then you reach the top floor, grab this key card, and then that opens up these doors over here. You come around here, now this is like a cave section, where it's just like these really crazy like caves with lava and stuff. And then that takes you out back to here again. So basically, let me see if I could increase my camera movement speed. So basically you go around like that, and then within this bottom structure here, you get one of the key cards, and then you do a that allows you to access these doors, which gives you access to this place. You do a power node battle, and then it takes you into this crazy cave section, which is gonna, like I guess it won't necessarily involve key cards, but it'll still involve you like surviving to get through from one side to the other and one end to the other, and then you end up coming out over here. Now you see how you're still moving forward, even though you've re-entered the area from a different direction. So like you then from here, you'll now have the ability to open this door, and then you go into this. Right, and then this leads into an underground area where there's just like a big pool, like swirling, well, not swirling, but like there's a big pool of lava, and then there's a structure on the top of the cave, and so it's like a big open space, right? And basically what you do right there is you notice that it's underneath the giant tower that's going to be up here instead. So like I said before, the tower is going to be moved over, and from there you work up to a few floors to the base of this structure that's underneath the ground. Like it's sort of like a upside down pyramid attached to the top of a cave with lava underneath and plenty of places to die and fall to your death and all that shit. That'll take you to a path over here, which then brings you to the sort of like the outskirts of well, it takes you back over this way, and that kind of gets you to this door, to this top area up here with these bars, so that you can't get into it too early. And then that's when you finally go across this bridge that's going to be up here, and then that takes you into the haunted fortress, which is over here. Now you do the haunted fortress, you go all the way to the very end that you saw from all the way back here in the haunted fortress, and you do this power node battle, and then that ends up leading you back out this way, where you come back and now you're facing forward, and you go across this bridge again, and then that takes you to this door, which wasn't, you didn't have the ability to open that door until now. So if you continue moving forward, you'll probably notice that this door is now available to you. You go in here, and then there's a power node battle in here, and then that leads you to the final area, which is the actual tower itself. Now, in terms of like how long it's going to take for me to fully block this out and get it gameplay wise, the block meshing itself is going pretty quickly, but it usually takes about 3 times as long to make things look good after you finish block meshing it. In other words, I'm gonna be on the hook to make a lot of textures and stuff like that in order for this to have the proper visuals. Like, I mean, right now it looks like it's all like iron fucking blocks or some shit, right? But this is actually like side of a mountain. It's all rock over here. Like when you look up this way, you see this is actually one of my more favorite angles, because it shows a lot of like stuff, like different places that you can explore, and all kinds of interesting stuff like that. But this is all rock and everything like that. And the lava down there, obviously. So the art phase is probably going to take a while as well. But one of the things that's kind of rough about this is, like, as I'm block meshing it, I feel a lot of pressure to get the block mesh as far along as possible. And this is a pretty substantial chunk of stuff. So now that I have this area over here is almost block meshed, right? Once I have this area in a block mesh state, then I can begin this cave, and then from there I'll do the upside down pyramid structure above the lava pit, which is underneath the which is directly underneath the tower itself. It's kind of neat if you can like look up and you can see the tower above it. That'd be really cool. But I'll have to figure out how I want to set all that up, and then I'll have to. So that's giant cave. Oh, yeah, I have to finish this area over here, then the giant cave, right? And then the upside down pyramid above lava, and then that leads to a fairly substantial number of like long hallways that basically take you around over to the haunted fortress over here. And I could probably even do crazy shit like up here, like you can have a way to look down. I'm trying to include as many places as possible where you see places that you can go, or if you have already been, from different angles. So like you're always just going to be seeing some area that you haven't been to yet, or it was like, how do I get up there? Like I'm going to, my goal is to kind of get you to always sort of be in that state where it's like, oh, okay, whoa, what's that up there? Like how do I get to that? Like this cave section over here, I might actually have like a part of it kind of like coming through this wall where, like, you might be up here and looking like, whoa, that looks like some kind of a crazy cave. Like, and sure enough, a few hours later in gameplay, you manage to actually get to that area. I kind of want that. I want to see that kind of stuff going. A lot of that kind of stuff going on. I have a feeling that this will work. The only challenge, honestly, is going to just be the making sure that the monsters don't weigh the engine down too much, and I'll have to make sure how I spawn things is gonna. I don't know. I'll have to try it out. If it's not fun, I'll have to figure some kind of thing that I can do instead, or maybe just not have that many enemies. Maybe the enemies are more powerful or something. I don't know. But overall speaking, that's pretty much the gist of this. It's already 21 minutes. So as far as I should have probably mentioned this a little bit earlier in the video. As far as the actual other stuff, I haven't got around to the smaller patch stuff because I'm very distracted on this kind of stuff. I'm building this out right now. So that means I haven't done any of the bug fixes or anything. I probably should just sit down and just do those like maybe tomorrow and just like go through and do a basic pass, get Dark Seed working correctly and stuff like that. But the cryptocurrency thing is actually coming along very well. I'm actually very surprised. It's possible that we might actually be able to see some progress on that very soon. So, and I'm actually kind of confident that the method that I've talked about before is actually going to work. So that's a really huge plus as well. So now we have this like giant bit of new content for the game, and possibility that I might have technically the world's first-person shooter to utilize cryptocurrency. Oh man, like this could be a really good thing. The only thing is that sales for the game have actually suddenly kind of dropped off. I guess maybe it's because I haven't done a patch this week. It's not that nothing is happening, guys. It's more or less that I've just been working on stuff that takes longer to do, and that's why you haven't seen an update just yet. So, with all that said, there's going to be more to talk about as far as, at least as far as the cryptocurrency stuff, but there'll definitely be more layout stuff that I want to do as well. I can talk about it probably after Saturday, and I might have, for the possibility that once that kind of stuff gets, like the crypto stuff gets sorted out, I might actually have some kind of a funding. I might have some kind of funding going on. I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's really kind of up in the air. But yeah, all right. I'm really looking forward to seeing this come out, and that's one of the reasons also that's kind of making it harder for me not to just focus all on this for now. Um, I don't know. I feel like it can really work. I feel like this is going to be good. I have to handle. Maybe I have to have like a little Boolean checkbox for like automatically spawn even if out of range, or some, like always spawn checkbox. but then you'll end up with enemies that see you from like all the way over here or something. I don't know. That's not going to be good either because the abomination will have already walked up all the way over here by the time you get over here. So like, I'll have to, I'll have to be careful on how I handle this. But okay. With that said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, like oh, I guess there's not really much else to say. It's just it's moving along. It's moving along.